Thank you all for coming today, and thank you so much to our Mayor Stephanie Miner for allowing Syracuse to be a play ball city with this MLB initiative. And thank you so much to Commissioner Manfred for coming to Syracuse today and helping us to kick off baseball in Syracuse, the summer of Syracuse, New York. I'm here today because I am on the executive board of RBI Baseball in addition to being in the city council. And for those of you who aren't familiar, RBI Baseball is a Major League Baseball program. It's a youth baseball program that runs in the summer. And the goal of it is to revitalize inner city baseball programs, get more kids on the field. Why do we need that in Syracuse? Well, we need kids off the streets in Syracuse. And to me, as a city councilor, RBI the place to be. It's the place to get it done. And based on the response that we've gotten from the community around RBI this year, everybody agrees with us. We've had incredible partnerships with the Boys and Girls Club, the Chiefs, with Lemoyne College, with private citizens like Tom Ryan, with the community organizations, the Community Foundation. I literally cannot list everyone who has, Little Leagues, everyone who has helped to build a great RBI program coming up this summer. And Major League Baseball has been a major contributor in the growth of this program this year. We have an issue in the city of Syracuse with gun violence, like many cities across the country right now. And yesterday we stood on the steps at City Hall and our honorable mayor declared June 2nd National Gun Violence Awareness Day. We listened to parents who had lost children, and we listened to a story of a 15-year-old who's most likely going to jail or has been arrested for shooting two people on Primrose Ave last week. That kid was 15 years old. MLB gave us over 430 uniforms this year. We're going to fill those shirts. We're going to fill those shirts, we're going to fill those jerseys, and we're going to get those kids on the field. And those kids will be off the streets. This is a program that's going to help our inner city kids. It's an action program that we're going to use to move these kids off the streets. It doesn't stop there though with RBI. We're also working in partnership with our existing partners, the Boys and Girls Club, the board of the Boys and Girls Club and RBI board, and the people from the Syracuse City School District and the Parks Department, the mayor's office. Again, can't list them all. We've been sitting down and we've put together a 12-month program that's going to support our RBI kids. These kids are going to be able to start school in September. They're going to jump on a bus after school. They're going to head over to their local Boys and Girls Club organization. They're going to get a snack. They're going to get tutoring. And then after that, they're going to get an hour of skills baseball training. We're going to train them up. We're going to offer them the same kind of resources that those suburban kids that they're playing against are all getting. We're going to level the playing field as far as ability on the field when it comes to springtime. Our kids can't afford those kinds of expensive training programs. We're going to make sure they have that quality of education around baseball. And we're also going to make sure they have the academic supports, particularly our English language learners, to be able to compete on the field. Sometimes the sports are the only thing that keep those kids showing up at the door at school sometimes in our buildings. Sometimes that's why they show up. We got to give them another reason to be there, other than telling them that the education is the most important thing that they can have, even though we're right. Sometimes our city coaches, who I already failed to speak of, they've been instrumental in building this RBI program, and they're going to be instrumental in building our training program with the Boys and Girls Club. They don't know that yet, so. They've been able to produce quality players. We have one team right now in the Syracuse City Schools. We have one baseball team. 13 kids or so play varsity baseball right now for 5 high schools. Somewhere around 22,000 kids. We got one team. And they're awesome. And these coaches have been able to nurture kids from T-ball on up. They've been able to take kids who have shown up at the door with a ton of natural talent and not screw it up. They've been able to take these kids to the places that they need to be. And that leads me to introducing our next guest. I'd like to introduce one of our players from the Syracuse baseball team this year that we're very proud of. Jeff Belge is a senior at Henniger High School. He's been incredible to watch. He's attracted multiple scouts to Syracuse. We're expecting to hear some big news about Jeff in the upcoming weeks. His coach, Miola, where are you? You want to come up here with Jeff and give him So Coach Miola has worked with Jeff and the other coaches that have all worked with him and given him the support. I'd like to just say quickly before Jeff comes up here on a personal note, my son Jed also plays city baseball. He's a freshman and got to come up and play on the varsity team a little bit. Well, I'm sorry, he got to clean the dugout this year for the varsity team. And Jeff was incredible to him. The kids on the field, they were kind. They engaged a couple of the freshmen who got to come up. They were friendly, and I think it really speaks to the character. And that character comes from parenting, that character comes from the schools, and it comes from teaching. And I'm proud to say that my son got to play on a team with us kids. So I'd like to introduce Jeff to come up now and say a couple of words.
First and foremost, I want to thank Mrs. Boyle and Mayor Miner for inviting me to this event. I also want to thank Commissioner Manfred for taking time out of his busy schedule to be here today. Baseball has been incredible to me, and I've had a great experience throughout my years of playing. I started in T-ball and hope to play professionally soon. I want to encourage all the younger players out there to enjoy their time playing, never take it for granted. Take time to appreciate your coaches and especially your families for supporting you. And that's all I got. I just want to thank you guys again for having me up here, and it's truly an honor. Thank you.
So I have a standing rule that I don't get introduced by anybody who's tall. So that's why Jeff didn't introduce me. I want to thank first and foremost Sue Boyle. She was the phenom behind today happening. She's been very gracious in sharing the praise with all of us. But the truth is that without her constant hard work and focus on this event, today would not have happened. So Sue, well done. Jeff, thank you for being here today, and thank you for being a role model. One of the greatest things that I get to do as a mayor of the City of Syracuse is attend opening day for the Little League. I don't want to brag, but as the first female mayor, Commissioner, when I came to opening day, there were a bunch of coaches who were unsure about whether I should be allowed to throw the first pitch. And I am pleased to say that because of my days of wiffle ball and softball and having access to events like this, I was able to throw it overhand, over the plate with a baseball. So between that and all of the hard work of Sue Boyle, I think that the city of Syracuse is ready for more women to be involved in politics and maybe even baseball. Today is custom ordered for baseball. And I want to say, Commissioner, that we are so happy that you are here to experience what we knew you would experience when we committed to you that we would do this, because we're here to celebrate the great American tradition of baseball, but the more American tradition of giving a healthy, constructive activity to young people, to learn about those rules that they pledge in Little League, to work together, to respect each other, and to be Americans. And so with that, let me welcome the Commissioner, but also let me say that this is not his first time in Tip Hill, but he wasn't here to play baseball. Those other times in Tip Hill was the second favorite, or maybe even the third favorite, or perhaps even the first favorite activity that he initially came to Tip Hill. But we are glad that you are here. We're glad that you chose Syracuse, and you will not be disappointed by what you see coming out of Syracuse. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a good Syracuse welcome to Commissioner Manfred.
Good morning, everybody. For the last 18 months or so, I've been running around the United States telling people that I have the best job in the world. And I really do believe that. But the best part of what I regard to be the best job in the world is what you see out there. When you get to spend a day like today watching kids interact with our game, it reminds you how special this game really is. And I have to thank Mayor Miner. I practiced that all the way down on the plane, so I got it out right. The Syracuse City School District and the Recreation Department here in Syracuse and the RBI program for putting on this great event. As some of you may know, I grew up just down the road in Rome, New York. I was probably the worst little leaguer of all time. Actually reasonably athletic, but baseball was not easy for me, but it was a formative experience for me. The game taught me values like teamwork, persistence, that have stayed with me my entire life. And I really have had a kind of special bond with the game my entire life. When I became commissioner, I thought it was important to put an emphasis on young people playing our game. I think it's important to the future of our game. I think it's also important to our society, and I think it's important to our culture, because unlike any other game, baseball is uniquely American, and that's why people care so deeply about our sport. There's a lot of aspects to the youth initiative that we have undertaken under the umbrella of Play Ball, and we have some really fantastic partners in those initiatives. Some of you may be aware, we now have 6 urban youth academies that are designed to promote elite play in underserved areas. We operate those academies in conjunction with one of the major league clubs. They're all in major league cities, and they're designed to promote diversity among our players at the major league level. The focus on underserved areas goes beyond those urban youth academies. The RBI program, like the great RBI program that operates here in Syracuse, is a grassroots program designed to get young people, particularly in inner cities, playing the game of baseball again. There's a real decline of baseball in inner cities in particular, and it's something that we've spent a lot of time and money trying to correct. In the RBI program, we have another fantastic partner, the Boys and Girls Club. For more than 20 years, the Boys and Girls Club has been the national charity of Major League Baseball. They do a fantastic job in the youth space with young people generally, but particularly in promoting the game of baseball. I was fortunate enough on Tuesday to be in Puerto Rico for the opening of a new Boys and Girls Club in what is the largest housing project in any part of the United States. And to see the programs that they're making available at this Boys and Girls Club to young kids, not just baseball programs, but programs generally, really exciting to me. And then the last aspect of it, and one that's particularly dear to me, is events like this, these play ball events. One of the things that we realized when we started to think about participation in youth baseball is that most of us, are in our 40s or 50s that are running the game. And when we thought about playing baseball as a kid, we didn't really think about organized play. We thought about those games that you make up when you only have 8 or 9 kids, hot box, home run derby, wiffle ball in your backyard. And it seemed to us that that's something we've lost over time. As the games become more organized in the youth space, we've gotten away from those informal games. So events like today make kids realize that they can engage with our game without all those formalities. And it's particularly important in areas where you may not have the fields and the coaches available. Our partner on Play Ball is the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I have to tell you, if I was going to try to accomplish something on a national basis in our country, the first place I would go is to the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I spoke at their national convention last year. It was 5 really quick minutes about our game and why we thought it was important. I walked out of there with 100 pledge cards from mayors to conduct play ball events around the country. By the time I got back to New York at the end of the following week, I had 140 pledge cards. And in fact, every single one of those pledges, all 140, were fulfilled during the month of August last year. The U.S. Conference of Mayors have been just an absolutely great partner for us. And your mayor here in Syracuse is an example of why they are such great partners. This year, we'll have over 200 play ball events throughout the course of the summer. We're going to continue to grow this program, and we want these events not just to be about baseball, but we want them to be community events. The game of baseball has always been generational. The game was passed down to me by my parents. They took the time, made the effort to make sure that I was exposed to the game, had an opportunity to play, had an opportunity to go to a big league ballpark when I was only 10 years old. I do feel, of all the obligations that I have to the game, the greatest single one is to make sure that the game is passed down to the next generation the same way that it was passed on to us. I think we're making great progress in that effort, and it's in no small part due to the efforts of programs like this here today. So thank you very much for having me, and I hope you enjoy your play ball day here in Syracuse tonight.
All right. If you can indulge me for a minute, I know the two most important people just spoke, Commissioner and the Mayor, but if you can hold on a second. If you can, look to my right, your left. Our future is this way, which I have to acknowledge. My beautiful wife is out there playing with my kids. This is what we as adults, teenagers, parents, individuals need to do. Invest time in our children. Now, if you can again look to your left, or my left, your right, this is our future. When the mayor appointed me and asked me to come be a part of her team and be a part of Parks and Recreation, my goal was to get kids outside, get kids back outside playing. But not just the kids, the parents to be involved, the adults. If you're not a parent, if you're just an adult, you can affect someone's life. You can affect these youth's lives by just being a participant, by just acknowledging them and supporting their dreams and their goals. I wanted then, who I didn't acknowledge earlier, the Lemoyne volunteers who came, the Lemoyne group, our volunteers out there is the Syracuse Strong football team, and most importantly, our youth who's out there. I thank you guys for coming, and I hope that you take with you what you see to my left and your right, that this is the future. Our youth, our RBI, all our sports, all our kids' dreams, and that we push them and encourage them to become the best they can be. I thank you all for coming, and I also thank the Commissioner for coming and joining us today in this special event, and go and enjoy this great weather in Syracuse today. Thank you for coming.